Yeah.
Yeah.
To go.
Just so we're both aware that he's now recording.
So you doing all right then, mate? Yeah.
I'm all right. Yeah, not too bad. We've just we've had a hectic morning this morning. Though we went because this should have been for 11, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
But we wanted to nip into town for get some little bits like for the house and that. We went Wilkinson's.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, we didn't even go in because it opened at 10.
Yeah.
Got there about 10:15, and the queue around the outside of the shop was all the way back to like where Chunghwa Chinese is.
Really? Is it? I didn't even think it'd be open. I didn't even think Wilkie's would be open.
I think it is, and I don't think they're only allowed like 10 people in the shop at any one time.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think my mum said that you can't go in pairs. So me and Laura were going together. If we go in as a pair, that takes somebody else's sort of position away from them.
Right. So you can't go in.
But we drove straight past in the queue and then went, nah, I'm not into this. Like, so
yeah,
went to Tesco's and got a few bits from there. But just a strange experience.
It is. It's a bit strange, isn't it? And it's hard to manage as well. Like I know, I can see what they're trying to do with like the 2 meters, but once you get inside the shop, that is really hard. Unless you've got like a stick and you're trying to
no. But that's it. The problem is like the aisles aren't 2 meters wide, so
so you're gonna walk past someone at some point, aren't you? So I suppose they've got to be seen to be making an effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a bit weird. We went to Aldi yesterday, and it was a similar sort of situation where you're queuing outside for a while, and then you get inside, and it's all like hand sanitizer as you get in, and then off you go.
I know. It's funny though because it makes you question. I know the idea is like the government guidelines are that you only go out for the essentials, food, shopping, and all that, but it kind of gives you a little bit of you question whether or not is it, because no shopping trip now is just a quick 20 minutes, nip and get some stuff and then come straight back. So it makes you question, is this really important what I need to go out for? Because realistically, I'm going to be stuck in a queue for like an hour.
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it, and weigh that up.
I know. So half of the time it's like, it's not really that important. I'll do without.
I'll just grab that tin of tuna that back of the cup. I'll just have that. Because before all this started, we got into a really bad habit of like shopping daily.
Yeah.
For food, which is a terrible idea because you're wasting your life away going into supermarkets every day.
Yeah. So, what was you getting, like fresh produce and that, or just stuff?
Yeah, but it's a terrible idea because you're spending more and you're wasting more time. But like you said then, now it's like, right, what do we need? Get the list.
I know. We've been going like once a week, like doing like the big shop once a week, but. Like you said, the little bits, we'd be guilty of that, going out for little bits and bobs to the co-op or just nip into the Tesco Express and that. But now we really do think, do we need it? Because, I mean, Laura's not too bad, and I'm patient, but there's no way I think I'm not wasting an hour just to go and stand in a queue to get like a loaf of bread and some eggs. No way.
I don't blame you. Like, Kate's got me pretty much, like, she's quite sort of, I don't know, I think she's thinking about it a little bit more. As in, like, why are you going out again? Like, she's like, you're only supposed to be going out once.
All right. So she's proper on top of it, like.
Oh, she's on it. She's like the COVID-19 police, you know. She's like, right, why are you going out? Just go. We took the dog for a walk this morning, so that was good over the fields. You know, like get a bit of fresh air in that.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah, I've never seen so many dog walkers in my life. When I take our dog out and that, like, I'm like, bloody hell, I've never seen all these people before.
Yeah, all these people with like dogs who've like never been out.
I know. Just makes you wonder, like, where have the dogs been in the first place? Like, did they just housebound them?
I think probably. Dogs get no exercise. All of a sudden, the poor dog's being dragged around the field.
I know. Bloody hell. So what's your training been like throughout this lockdown and that?
What, as in my training or?
Your training personally, what have you been up to?
I've been all right, really. Business as usual for me, really, with my training. So, luckily, as you know, I've got a gym. So I've just been kind of using that in isolation.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of been keeping a daily habit of making sure I still do that.
Yeah.
So I've still been doing that. I think the only addition for me has been the extra walking. So I've probably been doing more walking.
Yeah. Like you said, well, that's good just for that fresh air, isn't it? That little bit of
Yeah.
you can go in the gym and then take the dog for a walk. I love it, me, that hour when I get to walk over and that, like, and bit of fresh air. Try and go somewhere where there's a little bit far afield, not many people knocking about, which is a bit difficult at this, especially if the weather's nice.
I know. But it is taking advantage of the weather, isn't it? Like, the weather's so good.
Yeah.
That you've got to get out. So I think that's been my big change with my routine is like I've been getting more walking with the dog, which that's something I want to try and keep going, actually. Even when we go back to some sort of normality, I would like to keep that.
Yeah.
That like hours walk daily if I can. Yeah, I'm definitely looking to keep that going. But as far as my weight training's going, that's going nicely. So still training 5 or 6 days lifting. So yeah, that's kind of going okay.
Yeah, it's good because, I mean, for those who are fortunate enough to have like gym equipment and access to your own gym and that, like you have, it because of the predicament we find ourselves in, it almost dials it in even more, doesn't it? So you can get your workout in. You've not got a lot of other distractions because there's not a lot else. I know you're keeping your business running and that remotely, but it almost dials it in, doesn't it? To where like you can get that hour in, you know it's going to be there every day. That discipline and that routine.
Yeah, that's it, mate. There's even almost less distractions now, and more sort of structure to it, which is obviously a positive in the negative times that we're going through. Is just keeping that sort of routine going. Like, I do feel sorry because I've had a lot of people contact me about gym equipment and different things, but I was checking out the online fitness equipment website at the moment, and they pushed the prices up. A lot of places.
There's nothing there, is there?
eBay, Amazon, they've all pushed the prices up on certain products, and it's a shame, really.
I know.
Because people a lot of people still want to work out at home. If you've got limited equipment, it can be a little bit tougher, but a bit more creative, so it can still be done.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think it almost becomes like you can get rid of a lot of the non-essential sort of exercises that people like do, and it almost draws people back into like fundamental, basic human movements, doesn't it? Like squats, lunges, hip what movements am I saying? Like hinging.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Like I've been playing around with like handstands and all that kind of stuff. It really does.
People doing that.
Yeah.
And they're all great. They're all really, really good movements. They're like really good movements.
Yeah.
So, you see, and you can see how many people, I've seen how many people are doing it now online. You're trying to, like keep active and the posting, which I suppose is good. It's encouraging that everyone's trying to get involved, but there's nothing else we can do. Though, is there really? It's like,
I know.
That's like all we can do. But
so that's like that is another positive in this like negative time that we find ourselves. More people are doing some exercises. Even is his name that Joe Wicks guy doing the PE stuff in the morning, and it is promoting exercise for people because again we've spoken about it before. Exercise is massive for like mental health, innit?
Yeah.
Physical aspect is massive towards the mental clarity and mental well-being. And I think people are finding that now that they need to do some exercise to cope mentally in this like situation that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, it's that bit of resilience, isn't it? I think
as
well, I think because it's part of the government's recommendation, it's one of the only things that we're left with that we can do. It's part of that government guideline at the moment, which is great. Obviously, for you because we've always trained, but then for people that we help, like I know you're obviously helping a lot of people out with jiu-jitsu and training, and I'm helping people out the same, but it's good that we can still recommend that, like you say, for the physical and the mental aspects. Like, so my training's been going okay. The only thing I think I'd probably say is I don't know about you, but I've been definitely eating more.
Tell me about it. All sorts, like just constantly in the cupboard every like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. What can I have now? That's
me. Like, and I know I'm like helping people out with like, trying to keep a healthy weight, but I think I weighed myself today. I think I put about 5 pounds on in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, bloody hell. It's not a goal by any means. It was just like a little jokey throwaway comment that I put on our jiu-jitsu WhatsApp group. And by the time I get back, I want to be like 100 kilograms with zero cardio. I'm just going to lie on top of people.
Absolutely. And I've found a lot of clients are the same who I've been helping. They're all like stressed. Like that first 2 or 3 weeks of lockdown, everyone's like stress eating and
I know.
in the cupboards and, you know, like chocolate and all sorts of stuff. So I think now we're getting into, is it week 4 now? Is it, or week 5?
Week 4 is tomorrow, isn't it? Week
Is
4
it?
starts tomorrow, I think, because it was 3 weeks. And the Thursday, when the announcement was Thursday, that was like the 3rd week, I think.
Yeah.
I might got that wrong, but I'm sure that was the 3rd week. Yeah,
So we are going into week 4. So, like, I know for myself, I've put the brakes on now. I'm like, right, we've had a bit of fun eating there. Let's just get it back to the normality and some good eating habits. And I've been saying the same to clients. I think I sent a message out yesterday just saying, right, you've had your 2 or 3 weeks eating biscuits. Let's get into some sort of back to some
almost like the novelty of lockdown has wore off now. You've had your 3 weeks. We are going to continue this.
Yeah.
So now we need to get back to a routine that we were implementing before. And that,
looks like it's going to carry on, doesn't it, for at least another 3 weeks? So we can't just keep going on with, like, you know, not exercising or like eating a load of crap all the time. So yeah, we have got to get back to some good eating habits, I think. Me included, you know, I'm keeping myself in that there.
I'm enjoying it, me though. I'm enjoying like eating, and I'm not necessarily burning off the calories because I'm not doing jiu-jitsu obviously 5-6 days a week. So I'm enjoying, and I've got quite a decent setup in my garage gym wise. So my sort of goal during the lockdown was, again, going back to like Stoic philosophy and that, trying to control what I can control. I can't do jiu-jitsu, so that's out of the window.
Yeah.
I can do it mentally, so I can look at videos and analyze matches and look at techniques and stuff. But at the end of the day, there's only so much YouTube technique you can retain.
Yeah.
So I'll try and restrict.
That's been tough for you because you were like, you are all about jiu-jitsu and you were training so much yourself and coaching. Has that been quite tough for you, or was it?
It has been difficult. I've started doing a lot of. We'll speak about it in a bit, but I started like doing a little bit of online stuff for the members of the gym and that, like. But the HQ Academy, so Roger Gracie's academy in London, have put a massive, comprehensive online using Zoom, 6 classes a week. 6 days a week, multiple classes a day for kids, adults. So they've provided like a massive online platform for our members that we can utilize. So it took a bit of pressure off me, really, trying to accommodate me members, like giving them sort of content and that all the time. But
yeah,
I've been doing some little videos to put on our private Facebook group, and I do a weekly email, like blatantly ripped off the Tim Ferriss 5 Bullet Friday.
Good, it? It's good. It is good.
Works though, done it, and I've had quite good feedback from that off the members and that, and
yeah,
just giving them some of the videos that I've been watching. Hopefully it can, because again, analysing matches and stuff. Even though I can't do stuff physically, I can do stuff mentally and keep mentally active if I want to get back. But I've been enjoying going back to the eating, but I've been enjoying eating because I'm not burning the calories, and I've got a pretty good gym set up in my garage.
Yeah,
I've just gone back to basics, doing like Matt. We've spoke about Mark Rippetto before, only in his strength program that he promotes. Like 3 sets of 5, just doing compound lifts, bench, deadlift, shoulder press, squats.
Yeah,
I've been doing that 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm enjoying eating and having energy to actually lift. Like
that was a thing for you, wasn't it? That was something you were struggling with, injuries. Like, you were training so much on the mat.
Yeah,
you weren't able to get your strength training in.
I know.
And getting your muscle going because you were so busy doing the other stuff. So I think like this has been a blessing in that way, I suppose, isn't it?
I'm enjoying sort of giving injuries a bit of time to relax and heal. Yeah. And I'm enjoying lifting, like not being sore, so I can actually go and lift and squat and stuff like that. So it's been quite good.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something I've been thinking about in the last 3 weeks since I've been doing this sort of strength lifting protocol? You probably know better than me, but is there something about strength and weight training that helps reduce injuries?
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely.
So the stronger you are, the less injury prone you might be.
Yeah, definitely. Because not just strengthening like your skeletal system up, but it's also strengthening all your ligaments, your tendons, all the sort of supporting structures. So yeah, definitely for injury prevention.
Yeah.
Because like I say, if all of a sudden you have to go and sprint, or you need to lift up something into the car or something like that, if you have been strength training, you built that base up. Injury prevention, definitely.
Yeah.
Huge.
The idea I'm playing around with is that like the strength training will will almost make me a little bit more robust for then going back onto the mat.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And it's tough for you, isn't it? Like we've touched on this before about you trying to get like the best of both worlds in there, but I think because you're rolling so much and because obviously you've launched the like your jiu-jitsu school as well, it's been hard for you to get that regular strength training in, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, I have struggled whether time constraints or the fact that I'm just so sore from doing jiu-jitsu and fatigued.
Yeah.
And trying to do it in the gym, and that is when I've found I'm picking up more injuries. So now, again, turning that positive into a negative and trying to control what I can control. I'm using this time to maybe build up that strength base, build up that robustness and resilience. So when I get back on the mat, hopefully I'm a little less injury prone. Like,
yeah, I think so. I think that's a big thing. I think it's a big thing because I think a lot of the time people who are really into their sport, obviously you have to spend a lot of time in that sport to get better at it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we neglect the other stuff, don't we? Like the flexibility or the mobility or the strength or the injury prevention. So I think, like you say, during this time, hopefully this will help you out a little bit.
Definitely.
When you do go back on the mat.
Yeah. And I've been working a little bit on, again, it's not something that interests me a lot, but I'm working a little bit on mobility and stuff as well. I feel like at our age we have to work on stuff like that, and it's one of the things that we've spoke about it quite often. But it's something I wish I'd have started. Again, it's not something that interests me. I do find it boring, but it's a necessity, innit? It's a necessity.
It is. I agree. It's definitely something that I struggle with. I think there's definitely something to. Like, I just think active recovery sometimes can help as well. So things like going for walks, like me and you enjoy our walking with the dog. I think that helps promote recovery and mobility to some extent. But I also think even just doing really good strength training, but like good technique, controlling like the movements. Because if you think about it, going into like a squat or something like that, a loaded squat, if you're going, quite far down, you are stretching the hips and you are putting... you're taking the body through or the joint to a full range of motion.
All right.
Under load. So that can be a form of mobility training as well.
Oh, I never thought of that, actually.
It's something we don't normally think of. We always think of like we have to be doing yoga or sort of foam rolling and things like that, which I do think there's value to them things as well.
Yeah.
But I think just from doing your strength training, like your
so like warm up sets, maybe lighter weight, just concentrating on form.
Yeah,
it's in that groove, just going down and
definitely. So I definitely think there's something to that as well.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, the mobility and the stretching, I do struggle with it.
I must admit, one position I've enjoyed. It's going to sound really weird, this, but the bottom position of a squat, so no barbell or anything, just body weight.
Yeah.
So like trying to promote like ankle extension and knee extension, just sitting in the bottom of a squat. I've found that really like almost relaxing, and I can feel the tension releasing the bottom of my back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've been trying to spend a little bit of time in the bottom of a squat, heels on the ground, just working little niggling spots and that like that. Yeah. I've quite enjoyed that, actually.
That's a really good movement. I think there's an actual test called a 10-minute squat test, I think.
Right.
It's trying to keep your heels on the floor, but it's fantastic for ankle mobility.
Right.
And that's something I struggle with, I think, because I played basketball for years. My ankles are all jacked up.
Yeah.
I haven't got very good flexibility, but that sitting in the bottom of the squat, even if somebody has to hold on to something.
Yeah, so using like the edge of a door frame or something like that.
Something like that, or like some sort of pole, or they can hold on to something where they can sit right down into it, keep your heels down, and just work into them corners of the ankles. I think that, and like really good for the hips as well, really good for the ankles. I think that's a really good tool. Or like I say, if you don't enjoy doing a lot of flexibility work, you can maybe time yourself and see if you can try and increase the time every time you do it. The squat test.
Yeah. I think that's really good for when we're talking about people with limited gym equipment and that. All this kind of stuff, like working on mobility, is you're doing something. It's taking out. It's basically getting rid of all the options for you. You've not got much choice in the matter. You've got to use what you've got. And even if that's, again, you're working mobility, flexibility, grabbing onto a door frame and going down into a full arse to grass squat and holding it there, then if that's what you've got to do, and that's all you've got.
You just reminded me that I seen a video last week, and it was one of these like videos. I think it was on Facebook or something, and it was some guy in his back garden, and he's got like a plastic garden chair,
right?
And he's got his barbell, and he kind of loaded it onto his chest where he was trying to do like an inclined chest, and then the chair snapped.
Oh,
Back on it.
There's a few of them knocking about into like fitness fails during lockdown and that.
It was funny, but like obviously not funny for him. But yeah, I was laughing at that. You're like trying to do like an inclined bench press on the chair. I was like, oh my god.
So, what have you been? I know we've spoke about it before, but what have you implemented in your business then? Because obviously, like the same as me with the jiu-jitsu and that, we can't obviously do it the way we were doing it before. So how have you implemented change in your PT business?
Well, we've had to move quite quickly with changing. So it's like you said, when they announced the lockdown, I think it was on a Friday, it just threw everything up in the air. And really stressful weekend, obviously, because we've got like a bricks and mortar gym business where people come and train in small groups. So it was a bit of a nightmare. So I think a lot of people who are fearful because they've got maybe family members with medical conditions, or they just don't want to go out and they want to follow the guidelines. They just want to stay at home. So what I've done is we've put like Zoom sessions on. So I think Zoom's been absolutely hammered, hasn't it? So
sorry to interrupt you, mate, but did you hear the conspiracy theory that Zoom started COVID-19?
No. But
they must be on the mint them now, mustn't they?
Oh, mate, I tell you what, like we'll maybe get into conspiracy theories in a bit. But that's funny, yeah. Zoom started. That's the new one. That's the new one. Just to profit off personal trainers.
Yeah, I know. They've blown up, haven't they?
Oh, huge! And like, because in the morning I was on it and I couldn't get on because it must have been
it just crashed,
crashed or whatever. But they've done all these updates now. Well, yeah, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the moment, I'm on Zoom at 7:30 in the morning with a group. So I've got about 10 of the girls on the screen, or like guys, and we've got like I'm just coaching from this room basically. So I do like a 30-minute blast with them, and it's a good start to the morning, but it's like an accountability thing as well. So something I've also done is like send them like home workouts to do, because I've got home workout videos that I do. But what I've found is some people are okay with that, but a lot of people they need that accountability. So they need to say, right, Gary's going to be on at 7:30, so I need to turn up for that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm probably not going to do it. So the Zoom sessions have been good for that. It's been given like the clients accountability, and I've been coaching them. I put some workouts together. We've been coaching them from here. So doing like squats, press ups, light dumbbells, tins of beans, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been it's gone down well, and it's kept people going, and it's allowed me to keep the business going as well. Why? I'm still helping people, so I'm still helping people out, because at the end of the day, people still need to stay fit and healthy through this. So it's given me the chance to help people do that. So yeah, it's been good. Zoom, home workouts. So yeah.
Awesome. Can you see anything what you're doing now in terms of the Zoom stuff? Can you see anything like that continuing once we've ended lockdown, we go back to our, in inverted commas, normal lives? Could you see something that's come out of this lockdown that you could implement in your business after it?
Yeah.
Like maybe continuing the Zoom sessions for people who maybe can't get the gym, or one-to-one privates through Zoom, something like that.
Yeah, we have spoke about that, and that's like what you just said there. That's a really good way of thinking, because it's taken it's almost thinking, well, our hand's been forced here by this COVID-19 going into lockdown, but what can we take out of this and then maybe bring into the business moving forward? So it's just made us realise that maybe the home workouts could be better. So what I've looked at is maybe I could, rather than having just a workout videos of me demonstrating the exercises, could there be a follow-along home workout video?
Yeah.
We've also looked at maybe there could be live Zoom sessions to sort of complement the program. So seeing me in person, but you also log on and we have a live Zoom every week. So there are lots of positives, or there are lots of sort of ways of maybe using some of this technology to sort of move it forward, or improve it in the future. Like you said, we've got people using the studio remotely on their own. maybe we could implement something like that in the future where we could write them a program and they could go and do it, you know.
I was thinking about it the other day that because you have these 24-hour access gyms now, don't you? Like, I don't know, some of the gyms in St Helens are 24 hours, and obviously you're restricted to like almost like business times, aren't you? But I was thinking about that. It could be something that I don't know how you'd implement it, but because you do remote sessions, someone could potentially access your gym at 3 o'clock in the morning when they've finished a night shift or something, and just follow along a program that you've done for them. That's something that could continue out of this, isn't it?
Yeah, we've kind of looked at all of that. Like, we have looked at all that. There are a lot of question marks around like security and insurance, and there's lots of questions around would it be still valuable for the client, which I think it would. But yeah, there's definitely options there moving forward. Yeah. So even though it's been a bad time, it's been a really bad time for the business, it's still, there could be some sort of positives and things to take forward, definitely.
No, I agree. And I think that's it's something that I've been like promoting on the Incremental Gainz social media platforms and stuff, is about having the mindset, even though, yes, we are in, it's different for everyone, isn't it? Like, people on the front line, the nurses, my sister's a district nurse, like, and she's dealing with patients who are actually diagnosed with coronavirus and all this. Like, so for the NHS and all the frontline workers, it's a really difficult, traumatic time. Do you know what I mean? But for people similar to me and you, who may be furloughed or run their own businesses, who have got that support and are sort of surviving, you know what I mean? I think having that mindset that what can you get out of this that can be implemented after it? How can you grow in a time of adversity is massive to have in it, that mindset.
Huge, mate, huge. I was talking to Sheridan last week about this, and like the first couple of weeks, I'll be honest, my sort of overwhelming emotion around all of this was anger. I was quite angry.
Yeah.
I don't know why. When I've sort of looked at it, it's that lack of control. It's the lack of not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Lack of control around business, what's going on in like life, what's happening, the economy and all that type of stuff. So I was quite sort of thrown off the first couple of weeks, really angry about it. But then, like you say, people like your sister-in-law there, like we've got to remember, they're like NHS workers.
I know.
Like doctors who are pulling like probably 24-hour shifts or 14-hour days. So then I kind of thought, what am I actually moaning about?
Yeah.
Because there are people going through a lot of crap at the moment, aren't we, with all of this sort of going on?
And I don't want to seem like we're trivialising it here, like, but obviously the NHS and that are having a really difficult time, but there are people who are just being asked to stay at home.
Yeah.
And for that generalisation of people, what can we do in this time to grow from it, to grow from this position? And can we get in the gym? Can we have better mobility? Can we look at our business models and maybe change them slightly so when we end this?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm trying to sort of promote through some of the stuff we're doing at the moment. Like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's like I was saying to Sheridan as well. I think he said to me, just take this time to sort of like plan for the future.
Yeah.
Take this time to maybe spend a bit more time with like your family, obviously your immediate family, your loved ones and things like that, and just reflect a little bit on your business or life or whatever, and maybe some.
I think that's a good point as well, like reflecting on what's important. So like in terms of, I mean, I don't know about you, but sweatpants have become the new norm. I've never wore like sweatpants much in my life. I'm normally in jeans and a t-shirt or something, but sweatpants and shorts are the norm.
Yeah.
Flip-flops or sliders.
Yeah.
I've got clothes in my wardrobe that I've just not worn for like 3 weeks, and you think, well, how important were they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and like going out for meals, obviously, and that are out of the question at the moment. So, like, take stock of what's important to you. I don't need to be spending money constantly on clothes that I hardly ever wear. And
that's it, mate. I've thought exactly the same thing. Like we go like we spend a fortune on living coffee shops and for meals at times, and like you say, I do like my clothes like yourself, but I've spoke to a few people this week, friends and that, and they've almost said to me, I'm actually quite enjoying this now because it's a very simple way of life.
Yeah, it's almost Spartan, in it. Like you can get in the gym, you can work out, and then you've got to sit there. And I know we've got social media and that, like, but there's almost like nothing to do, so you get plenty of time to reflect and ponder stuff. And
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And yeah, a simple life. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
It does make you think. Does a lot of that other stuff, like you just alluded to, does it matter?
I know.
Does it really matter?
Well, this time has kind of ended commercialism, hasn't it? Because
Yeah,
what do you want nice clothes for if we can't go out? So that's out of the window. No one's buying stuff for fear of maybe they want to save that money in case they can't pay the mortgage this month and that. Like, so we're in a time where commercialism and materialism is kind of out the window. And what you're left with is everything stripped back to where, like, we are who we are. Who are you? You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
I know.
It does kind of like bring you back to that, doesn't it? Really, like that minimalism thing again that we've spoken about in the past. It takes you more towards that, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
I also think it cuts out the
getting off the
Sorry, mate. What?
The only thing we've got to figure out now is how to get off the mobile phone for a bit, maybe.
I know. I have noticed I get an update on my phone that tells me how long my screen time's been, like this week or whatever, and I'm quite embarrassed by it, to be honest. Everything's done on my phone. I go on all, like, post everything, like, and do emails and, like, apart from Skype. But you can do that on your phone. You just can't record the conversation. That's all. But everything's done on my phone, so that's why my screen time's. But that's how I justify it to myself, anyway.
Exactly, mate. It's all for business. It's all for business, and it's all in the. It's all for.
You know. But I think going back to minimalism, I think it's. Like, I've not been into it. I've not sort of adopted a lifestyle, but it's something that's been there in my consciousness.
Yeah.
Looking at maybe stuff that I don't need, stuff that's not essential, stuff that you can maybe get rid of that you're not going to miss, and even down to everything now. Our workouts have got to be minimalist, haven't they? Because we've got to cater with the even food. Maybe food choices have got to be minimalist. You've got to stick to basic. Protein source, vegetables. Even that now, you've got to stick to basic sort of food sources, haven't we? And yeah, I think it's going to be an important kind of shift for us mentally. Yeah,
I do. Like you say, I suppose a lot of people will just come out of it and go straight back into the normal routine, but maybe they can't. Maybe we won't be allowed to do that. But I think at the moment, I'll definitely be trying to take some of this stuff forward, and some of the lessons that we've had to learn through this. I think I'll be taking them forward into me, training, business, life, sort of moving forward with it. I think
it kind of. Remember in, like, psychology in school and that, they talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
You spoke about that before, yeah.
So it's kind of like, obviously, like, so the bottom platform of the pyramid is we need oxygen, we need sleep, we need water, we need food. The next level up is maybe like a house, roof over our head.
Yeah.
And we get to the top, and the top is like the clothes, the mobile phones.
Yeah.
It's kind of like strip that right back on it. So now we're just focusing on, we need to work to earn to pay our mortgage. We need water. We need shelter. We need heat. We need food. There's not much more than that. We need connection.
Yeah.
There's not much more than that we need at this moment in time. Strip that right back, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like, materialism is an interesting subject, isn't it? We all fall for it and we all get suckered into it, but I think some of us more than others. I think it is an interesting one, that. I was listening to, I don't know if you listen to Ricky Gervais, he's quite a funny guy.
Not regularly, but I have listened to some. Is it a podcast or is it a show?
He had a podcast this week, and he's took a little bit of, not flack, but he was sort of taking the mickey out of celebrities, saying, like, stop moaning, like, they just in your mansion and you can't, do anything, and you can be swimming your swimming pool twice a day. And he was alluding back to the NHS workers going out again and sort of doing all that, and then we've got millionaires sat in mansions, celebrities who are moaning about it was like back to that kind of thing.
But commercialism and materialism, I think, if you're that way inclined to maybe, like you say, adopt these lessons that you're learning now and take them into your life after this coronavirus epidemic and that, then it's just a simple life, isn't it? Like, if you're not materialism, for me, it's trying to keep up with the Joneses, isn't it? So You're buying all these things to try and keep up with someone else or the celebrity culture, these Instagram stars and influencers. You're basically trying to like get status, aren't you? By buying these clothes, the technology, the cars and that, like, and
we all get suckered into it. We all get drawn into that, no matter what it is, whether, like you say, it's maybe social media where we're trying to keep up with someone on there.
It's all algorithms and stuff in it as well. So
even subconsciously, we might not think we are, but then you're looking, or it can even be something. I know people. I've got friends who live on like nice estates, and like they've got to have a nice car because they can't have the neighbour having a nicer car than them. So then they've got to have a certain type of car. They've got to have a certain type of lifestyle that goes along with that, and it can be a never-ending thing where I like to think that I try to sort of live quite a simple-ish. But again, I still enjoy nice things, so I'm a hypocrite there, Anna. But
I mean, there's nothing wrong with enjoying nice things, but I think the reason why you buy, like the minimalist guys, I can't remember the names now, but I'll put a link when this goes up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Did I tell you this is going up on YouTube, by the way?
No, thanks for that.
It will be going up on YouTube. I'll put a link to the minimalist guys, and they come up with some quite good points that, first of all, you ask yourself, can you afford it?
Yeah.
Which is fine. If you can, you go and get it. Yeah. And then ask yourself, do you need it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's an important question, that.
And if at the end of the day you think, well, I don't need it, but I want to treat myself, then that's fine as well. Do you know what I mean? But do you need it at first? Do you need it? What are the reasons for buying it? Is it ego? Is it you just want something, the next generation of something, or what?
Yeah. And I think what you just said there is massive. I think something I try and do, again, don't always succeed, but it's like asking yourself like questions. So asking yourself better questions.
Yeah.
And for me, that is a really, really good question. Like when you get to that, it's like, right, do I really need this? I think if everyone said that, do I really need this? And the answer probably most of the time is no. Probably.
Exactly. I know. And it comes back down to this like basic, simple life. Do you need it? Do you need a new pair of? And I'm definitely guilty of this. Like Lauren will tell you, I've got like 12 pairs of jeans. Do you know what I mean? And like I just like jeans. I don't know why. And not expensive jeans. I just like jeans for some reason. But like, do I need another pair of jeans? No, I don't. And that is something that maybe I'm going to take.
Yeah.
Not just for jeans. I mean for everything in general. Like, but that's something I'm going to take from this definitely. But yeah, that's something that I got from the minimalist guys.
Right.
And the sort of theories and concepts that they adopt. Can you afford it? Do you need it?
Yeah. So like, haven't they got like is it 3 t-shirts or something? Black t-shirt, white t-shirt, grey t-shirt, or something, and then they just rotate them t-shirts and.
Yeah. There's a game that you play, which is...
Isn't there? There's like decision fatigue as well, isn't there? So it takes away, I think they were talking about, it just takes away that decision fatigue. So you've not got to think, right, what am I having like for my breakfast in the morning and what am I going to wear? It's like that decision is taken away. And it's that minimalist, right? I have breakfast every day. I wear the same t-shirt. It's like...
That's it. 3 pairs of the same colour jeans, I think they have. They have a blue, black, grey and white t-shirt. They have 1 jacket, casual jacket and a more dressy jacket for like going out and that.
Yeah.
Pair of black shoes, pair of brown shoes.
Yeah.
Job done.
Jobs are good. So I'll have to get rid of all them trainers I've got in the corner.
They do an interesting game actually, and it's something that like people could actually start adopting during lockdown. And it's called, I think it's the 30-day challenge.
Right.
So each day. So the first day you start this challenge, you've got to get rid of 1 item that you don't need or use anymore. Day 2, you get rid of 2 items. Day 3, 3 items. Day 4, 4 items. So by the end of the 30-day challenge, on the last day, you're getting rid of 30 things that you don't need or want anymore. And it can be as little as some coasters that are in the top drawer of the room, some batteries. And then you start getting bigger into like some of the clothes that you've never wore for like a year. And you build up to these like, and then the 3,000 downgraded phones that you've got in your top drawer that you never get rid of, getting rid of them. So by the end of the day, you get rid of these 30 things and you're just left with, and I'm not saying it has to be minimalist, like 1 t-shirt, 1 pair of jeans, 1 pair of shoes.
That's extreme, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're getting rid of stuff that's not essential to you, and you're left with the essential items. Thought it was quite a good game.
It's really good, and then sell it all online, and then there's your side business. There's your little side hustle.
Yeah.
Just like plug it all online.
But that decision. Sorry, mate. Go
on, mate. You go.
I was saying that decision fatigue is something that thinking that we was having this, knowing that we was having this podcast, and sort of thinking of some of the topics that we could talk about and that, but that just prompted something in me then. Decision fatigue, and there's another term for it. Paralysis by analysis, isn't it?
Sorry, mate. Just gone off there.
Am I still on?
You're still on. I've got you. I've still got you.
It's that paralysis by analysis. I've heard a term. I don't know if you've come across that term before, but that can go back to the gym equipment as well.
Yeah.
And we've got that much gear, and you go into a gym, you've got that much stuff knocking about. The wonderful, like, what are they called? Pulley machines, Smith machines, new vibrator platforms, all that. Like, you almost become paralyzed by the amount of equipment that there's knocking about, isn't there?
Yeah. The more options there are, it's almost too many options, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas now you're forced to just go, I've got a kettlebell, I've got a skipping rope,
and
I've got a lacrosse ball. What can I do with them?
Exactly. And I think that's a massive thing for a lot of people. You know, decision fatigue, not having a routine, or just too many options in general. That's huge, isn't it?
I know.
It's a huge thing. Even like me and Kate were even talking yesterday about maybe we could do some stuff to the house, you know, like improve it. And we were saying, like, going back to the minimalist thing, like, we only really live in 2 rooms. Like, we don't use the rooms at all.
Yeah.
And we're paying for the house, but we only live in 2 rooms.
Yeah. I know.
What are we doing? You know, it's it does make you question things. Like,
I know. We have so like our house where we live, we've got the 3 bedrooms. One's like more of a wardrobe room, storage room, and we've got the back bedroom, and like, me and Laura laugh, like, but it's always made up as a bedroom.
Right.
But yeah, no one else lives here. There's only me and Laura who live here. So we've got our normal bedroom, but we have the back bedroom made up as a bedroom.
Yeah.
But like, it's not serving any purpose. You know what I mean? We have guests like once a year, something like that. Do you know what I mean?
And we have a dining table, and I always say to Kate, I always joke saying, we've never had anyone round ever. We've never had anyone round.
No, it's like you see, people with the big dining tables that fit like 12 people around, and there's all plates and that's set out all like nice, as though it's on a catalogue cover or something.
Yeah.
But only the 2 people sit there.
Like, who's that for? Don't know.
But then, like, I mean, I'm not saying this is about you, but in just general people who are thinking about buying like bigger houses and stuff, like, that's a good question to ask themselves. Why do we need a bigger house?
Why? Yeah.
What are the reasons why? Is it because you maybe wanted to start a family, or is it because you feel like your status deserves a bigger house for your status in life?
I just want it. Like, why? Well, I just want it. Well, why? Well, it normally comes down to, well, that other person's got it, so I want it.
Yeah, I know. No, it's good.
Again, I'm not saying any of these are right, or like I'm like righteous or anything. It's just, I think I always try to ask, just make you think, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So have you noticed anything from your gym members regarding the mental health? I know, like, you're doing a lot around the physical health and stuff, and still doing the online sessions, the Zoom.
Yeah.
Because you're not really having that one-to-one, that person connection and that. Are you noticing any sort of mental health issues coming out of it? Any people getting anxious about stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of fear around, isn't there?
Definitely, mate. Me included, but also a lot of clients who are kind of reaching out just through text messages, emails. A lot of people are struggling mental health wise. Just fear. I think anxiety is the big one. I think people seem to be very anxious about it. Yeah.
About the future, or about the lives, or just everything in general, I think, isn't it?
I think everything in general. I think the change. And it's been a quick change, hasn't it, as well? It hasn't just been a gradual change. It's been such a quick change. So, yeah, I have noticed to a lot of clients, members, quite anxious, struggling with mental health. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I read a book a while ago by a guy called Sebastian Junger. He's been on a few podcasts and that, but
I read that, yeah. I really want to read. Is it Tribes?
Tribes, that's it. Yeah. And it to summarize like some of the points in it, he has a passage that talks about, in general, in times of like massive world like traumatic events like wars or catastrophes and stuff, in general, depression, anxiety, suicide, they all decline.
Yeah.
Because, again, generalizing, when stuff's happening, world events that is a lot of the time out of people's control, we tend to draw and rely a lot more on community and neighbours and the community around you and the small areas that you live in.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this the other day, that he's saying in general, yeah, that happens, but because we're being told to isolate ourselves now, and maybe not have that interaction, not have the connection. I know we've got Skype and technology and that, but we can't have that sort of community element. And there is people supporting each other, but we can't leave our houses, can we? We're told that we can't really go out and have that connection. So I think that's integral with people's mental health, is that we're not connecting with people, are we, on a physical level anymore?
I think that's really, like, you've identified it there, but I didn't even think of it like that. But I suppose this is quite a unique situation where, because I know Sebastian Junger, I've heard him speak a lot about the Blitz in London during the war, and I've heard him talk about 9/11, saying during them times, like New York City and London, communities really, really come together, and people spoke more, people were nicer.
Yeah.
Depression went down, suicide went down, because through that struggle and through that sort of time, people like help each other out and they pull together. But what's funny about that is, obviously, like you've identified there, is we're going through a similar thing now. I do think people are pulling together. Like I've noticed, like we're speaking to neighbours a little bit more, and people are like letting on to each other.
Yeah.
Like the NHS clap every.
Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
I can see our road and our street all coming together, but we haven't got that social interaction. So it's quite a unique situation, that, isn't it?
I know it's different, isn't it? So like, I can see what he's saying, Sebastian Junger, about all these catastrophes and world events, but this is completely
different,
a one of a kind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind, unique.
It is, because we haven't got that, like you said, we haven't got that interaction. Like the same, like there's people like we can't see our families, can we? Like we can't see our parents, or we can't see our grandparents. So it is a strange one. It is a strange one. So, but it'll play out, obviously, as we go, won't it?
I think one of the massive things that I can, because obviously the work I do, like with the Leigh Community Trust in the charity third sector and all that, I can see a massive issue on loneliness and isolation, especially from the elderly. Once we finish this, there'll be a lot of, hopefully, money thrown towards isolation and loneliness, because again, that's the big thing that we're saying, because we can't socialise. You can't just nip around your grandma's house for a cup of tea to make sure she's all right, and that you're being told to stay away. So I think there will be massive issues around loneliness.
I've got a few clients like that. I've got friends, I've got clients who are on their own. They're just on their own. So that's tough, isn't it? You know, that is tough.
It is. And again, that hierarchy of needs, you need connection. Social connection is massive. Yeah.
So if this goes on another 3 weeks, and then it goes on beyond that, it's gonna get tougher potentially for some people. Like, it's tough for us all, but you know, we've all got our own unique situations. But it can be certainly really tough for some people, I think, who are really isolated. You know, who just can't get out. Like if you live in a flat and you haven't got a garden, and you know, all that's tough, isn't it?
I know. And take it for granted. I mean, we've got a nice garden. We can sit out in the garden when it's sunny. But yeah, if you live in a third floor block of flats or whatever, and all you can do is open the window and look outside,
exactly.
That's it. I know. I'm just reading a book at the moment called The Science of Storytelling by a guy called Will Storr, and it's so it's about stories and why we're so intrigued by stories, and the theory behind a story. So the five different acts in a story follow on like a hero's journey. That's the idea behind the story, like.
Yeah.
But he also relates it to actual science behind. Like he talks about the greatest storyteller. Why are we so enthralled by stories? Because our brain is the greatest storyteller ever.
Yeah.
So we have our identity is just a made up story that we tell ourselves every day. You know what I mean? It's not actually reality. It's just our perception of reality is how we make up our identity, just stories. And in the book, he's got this. He talks about an experiment that humans were tested in an isolation chamber, flotation tank. So sensory deprivation. The water's the same temperature as the skin. You can't see anything. You can't hear anything. So sensory isolation tank. Some people who weren't able to cope with the isolation, and people who weren't maybe mindful, or they wasn't into meditation or anything, they wasn't uncomfortable being alone. The experiment, after a certain amount of time, there was a buzzer in the corner.
Yeah.
And when you press the buzzer, it gives you an electric shock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the study showed, according to this book, that the people who weren't mentally resilient, we'll say, to sit on their own in complete sensory deprivation, after a certain amount of time, they actually started administering themselves the electric shock just for action, just to do something and to combat that boredom or that isolation. So that experiment has ramifications now when we're talking about isolation and stuff. People's behavior is gonna copy that experiment if it's correct, like, you know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah, that's
people are going to start showing negative behavior, whether that's through alcohol, whether or not through drugs, although you won't be able to get drugs off your drug supply because you can't leave your house and that, but but you know what I mean, though, negative behavior patterns during this time of isolation.
Yeah.
Well, that was a really interesting experiment from this book.
Yeah, people opting to shock themselves instead of just having a bit of quiet time.
Just for action, just because they want something, whether it's stimulation or something to tell themselves a story.
Yeah,
it's for a narrative, some sort of narrative in that isolation. It was fascinating. Yeah.
I've done them isolation tanks, and the first time you do it, it can be quite strange. And it takes you a good, I'd say, 20 minutes to start to relax.
Definitely.
I think I've done an hour.
Right. Have you done them regularly, have you, or was it just a couple?
I did it. I think I did it right. I think I did it once a week for about 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up really enjoying it. I don't know why I didn't carry it on, to be honest, but it's something that I found quite useful. But the first time, or even the first couple of times of using it, like you said there, it's turning the monkey mind off and it's turning the brain off.
Yeah.
And getting used to just doing nothing, which is difficult. It really is difficult.
To turn off that mental chatter, innit?
We're just constantly having, because if you think about it, we're just constantly having chats with ourselves all day, aren't we? That's all we're doing.
Yeah, that internal dialogue
that
you just have with yourself. And
I
mean, in that, when you put yourself in those situations that you did in the sensory deprivation tanks and that, you're alone with your thoughts.
Yeah.
And you realise then how much you actually talk to yourself.
Like you and Sheridan talk a lot about self-talk, don't you? Like how big self-talk can be and how negative or positive it can be.
Yeah.
In like different arenas, whether it's sport or performance or business or just life. But yeah, that chatter can be big. It can be.
And a lot of the time, predominantly it's negative as well.
It is, yeah.
We're very what's the word? We're not very good at bigging ourselves up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of the time, the self-talk is negative, and there's a quote, I can't remember who said it now, but if you spoke to yourself, if you spoke to your friends the way you spoke to yourself,
you'd have no friends.
I know. Yeah, that negative internal chatter. And imagine if you wasn't aware of it, and constantly all day you're just berating yourself, your little chimp in your head, or whatever you want to refer to it as, your inner bitch or whatever.
Yeah.
Just constantly at you. Imagine how that affects you.
Yeah. Your
behaviour, your physiology, your relationships with other people.
Huge, isn't it? And that's the benefit of meditation, isn't it? You know, just sort of try and quieten some of that noise, that internal noise.
Yeah.
Even just a short time.
I know. And I think that could be massive to promote to people who are in isolation now, because if you're in isolation, you're on your own, you can't speak to anyone. You're maybe not accustomed to maybe being alone with your thoughts for a long period of time and stuff.
Yeah.
That's gonna be difficult, that, if you've not got a handle on it.
Yeah, big.
Oh.
It's big, isn't it? It's big.
So maybe that's something that could come out of this situation. More people will be in tune to looking at like maybe more Eastern philosophy in terms of mindfulness or meditation.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think it's how you deliver it, isn't it? It's kind of it's a lot of people aren't receptive to them sort of techniques or things because they see it as a little bit too like holistic therapy or whatever.
Bit wishy-washy.
Bit wishy-washy, but it's got massive value, hasn't it? You know, especially through it almost makes you more resilient. You know, not less resilient, but it's how that message is sometimes delivered to the person. I think.
Yeah. It's got to be you've got to cater for your audience, haven't you?
Yeah.
But I think more people are starting to embrace it as well. I mean, I find it in the work that I do, more people are becoming more, especially because of the rise of mental health issues and stuff. I think more people are looking for answers that are gonna help them, and it is becoming more, not popular, but more prominent in like people's consciousness. They are aware that mindfulness is a thing. Whether or not they practice or not is a different matter, but they are aware. They know what it is.
Yeah.
They know what meditation is. They know like sort of breathing, that kind of stuff. Like, it's important.
It is. It's huge. It's huge. It's like a lot more businesses now are looking at this as well. You know, looking at the welfare of the staff, and there's a big conversation around mental health now when it comes to business or the workforce. So there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more going on with this now.
Yeah. They have a responsibility. I know we've mentioned Dave Sheridan a few times, and I'm trying to get him on actually, but he seemed a bit reluctant when I mentioned it to him. But yeah, he's big into the corporate side. Have got this social conscience.
Yeah.
And that caters to them, doesn't it? Looking at your staff, and as a business, you've got your social conscious. Is that the right term? Am I saying that right? Social conscious?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Before all this COVID-19 stuff kicked off, me and him actually went into a company to deliver like a 2-day seminar on this.
All right, nice.
So I spoke a lot about the fitness side and the sort of like nutrition side, training, benefits of exercise, benefits of a healthy lifestyle. And he touched a lot on like mindfulness, meditation, stress, all different facets of self-talk. And it was really, really good. It was quite powerful. And it was to a group of sort of, I think the second one was to a group of men. Like real,
was there? Did they embrace it? Did they take it on board, or
we weren't sure whether they would, and a lot of them were very sort of, older. A lot of older guys in the 50s, probably stuck in a certain way of doing things.
Yeah.
Very sort of hardworking, blue collar. That's obviously an American term, but working class guys. Really, but they really took it on,
All right.
And we didn't know whether they would. But I think the way we delivered it, like the way we put it together, it was quite powerful, and they really took it on board.
I think it helps though, like we said about catering to your audience, and that the way you are and the way Dave is, you're very relatable to men of that sort of age as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was the way we put it across, I think, but it was good. It was really good.
And I think that's massive. If people of that kind of generation can, because the statistics, and I'm paraphrasing, so I might not get it completely correct, but from the ages early 40s to late 50s is the age where most men, unfortunately, is the highest percentage of when suicides happen. Men of that age. Yeah. So I mean, if you can start to give stuff to men of that age to use as coping strategies, or to make them take stock of their lifestyle and their mental health, then that's massive, and it's going to obviously help to bring those statistics down.
And we found people were staying behind and having conversations, and it really opened up a lot of conversation around this type of stuff.
Yeah.
That they never probably have. They would never have them conversations normally, either in work or home with the wife or down the pub. They just wouldn't have these conversations. So it was quite powerful. It was good.
That's that stigma as well, isn't it? I know people are doing some really good work to try and dispel these myths and these stigmas that men shouldn't be allowed to talk about their emotions and the things that worry about them. But it's a massive issue, isn't it? And especially with men of a certain generation, they're considered the what's the word I'm looking for? Who are considered like the weak if they talk about their issues and the weak if they talk about maybe stuff that's happening at home and that. But it's important that we do dispel these myths and these stigmas, isn't it?
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
No. So I wanted to switch topics a little bit now. I know you're a massive basketball fan.
Oh yeah.
You've got Netflix.
I have got Netflix.
Are you looking forward to this new Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan documentary?
I'm massively looking forward to this.
I can't wait, honestly. I've had it on my phone and even added it to my calendar.
This, mate, you've got to. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Yeah, it's big. I'm in a WhatsApp group with a lot of the guys who I used to play with basketball.
Yeah.
This has been like every day. It's like, oh, the Michael Jordan documentary. Can't wait for the Michael Jordan documentary.
In it. So am I right in thinking that you'll know better than me, but like back in the day, I was massively into like Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen,
Dennis
Rodman. So this documentary is about so they've already done a three-peat, and they're now on the second
repeat.
So like the final series in it to three-peat.
That's correct. Yeah.
So
it's a huge, it's really going to be good. Like they've even brought it forward a little bit. I think they've obviously tried to give people some.
There must be massive demand. People must be like crying out for this documentary, especially like if you was into basketball at the same sort of era that we were into it and that like.
Yeah, it's our era of 90s basketball. It's when I was really into it, and obviously yourself as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I think it's the final year, the Chicago Bulls' final year of that super team being together.
So they were all leaving after that, were they?
Yeah. So at the beginning of that season, Phil Jackson, who was the head coach at the time, basically announced, I think it was to do with the owners, like they basically said to him, we aren't going to bring you all back next year. So this is the final, it's the last dance. That's why it's called the last dance. So this is the last dance. And Phil Jackson knew that at the beginning of the season. So he told them all that, listen, this is the last dance. Let's go out, on top type of thing. But it'll be fascinating. I'm obsessed with Michael Jordan anyway. So this is just adding to my sort of obsession.
What is it? What is your obsession with him? What do you find so...
I'm just fascinated by his competitive drive, his obsession with winning, to a level of probably being unhealthy. That's how obsessed he was with winning and being the best.
Well, you have to have that unhealthy, and that's a good phrase to describe it. That's what you just said, an unhealthy obsession to get in the top echelons of any sporting endeavour.
Yeah. You
need to be a little bit crazy, a little bit obsessive, and
I agree.
Otherwise you're not going to do it. Are you like, look at the likes of, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
We'll put Conor McGregor in that.
Yeah, I think so.
Floyd Mayweather, Tiger Woods. You have to be a little bit tapped, don't you?
Yeah, I'd put all them in there. I would put all them guys in there.
Uncommon amongst uncommon people. To coin a phrase from David Goggins. Yeah.
Great quote. That is a fantastic quote. Yeah, and I'd definitely throw Michael Jordan in there with that. He was compared. I personally think a lot of people, because back in the 90s we didn't have social media like we had now. So Michael Jordan kind of went. Don't get me wrong, he was the most recognisable athlete in all the world back then.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it is now, where you can't get away with doing anything. I think after this documentary, people won't like some of the ways he probably is in this documentary.
I think he's come out on YouTube. Some of the videos I've seen on YouTube for interviews in American TV, that he's a little bit apprehensive as to how he will be perceived after this because of his. You could call it bullying. You know what I mean?
It will be. It will be. It will be. But that was him, and I'm kind of looking forward to some of that. But I don't think some people will understand it. I don't. Like, some people will think he's maybe just being nasty for the sake of being nasty, but there's a reason why he was so great, and there's a reason why the Chicago Bulls were so great as well. So I'm looking forward to it. And
he's still one of the most highest grossing sports stars in the world.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Just through endorsements and that, even though he's long time retired.
Unbelievable. He's in his 50s now, and he's still right up there, which is amazing. Which is amazing.
I know.
Well, yeah.
I can't wait for that though.
So when's it on? Is it on tonight? Is it actually on?
I want to say it's on ESPN tonight, and Monday it's on Netflix.
It'll be on Netflix tomorrow for us.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I don't know though. I'm hoping they're going to put the whole thing on and not just like one episode every week.
I think it's going to be. I've heard it might be 2 episodes every week.
All right.
I don't know whether that's right or wrong.
Because that is really, that is like against the whole Netflix model, isn't it?
I know.
The model is to put one thing on in its entirety and people just binge it.
I could be wrong though. They might just put the full thing on. I could be wrong. I don't know how they're going to roll it out.
That's binge-worthy TV, that, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got me excited about it now, mate.
If I remember correctly as well, Utah Jazz. That's who it's against, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the
was it Karl Malone?
Karl Malone.
And who was the little guy, the point guard?
John Stockton. Malone and Stockton, the two. They faced him in the finals, and it was a great final series as well.
Yeah.
I remember staying up on Channel 4 when I was like 16 watching it.
Yeah, mate, it was video cassettes then as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, VHS.
DVDs. It was VHS.
Yeah, nothing on YouTube back then, or like streaming anything back then.
You still follow basketball?
Yeah, loosely. I don't follow it like I used to, but I still do follow it. Like I still do follow it. Yeah. It's a completely different game now. What it was in Michael Jordan's era.
I was watching something yesterday, and they were talking about how physical it was back then compared to today.
Yeah, it was a little bit like football, and like I suppose like rugby in certain ways. I think the game was different back in the 90s. It was a lot more physical.
Yeah.
Or brute force. It was less of. They've kind of changed the rules a little bit now. They've kind of changed the game a little bit. It's still a great game. I still really enjoy it, but it's. I do have a bias towards the 90s. I must admit, 90s basketball, brilliant.
I don't really follow it anymore. Like I have tried to get back into it, maybe, and if there's a game on like BT Sports or whatever, I'll watch it. But because I can't relate to any of the players and I don't know any of them.
I know.
Like, again, going back to this like theory of creating narratives and stories.
Yeah.
Because, like, almost Michael Jordan was a little bit aloof, and he was this amazing, like, player who's on all the billboards, all the serials back in the day, wasn't he? And you wanted to watch him because you couldn't watch him anywhere else, so you tune in to watch him on this basketball game and that, like, and create this story around him and like how good he was and that, like, but now because I've not got that backstory to any of the players. And I don't know about you, did you watch all these documentaries and that growing up as well, like Airtime and all that stuff? Yeah,
I had all them all lined up, all like VHS tapes.
Yeah,
I think I actually wore them out. I like watched them that much because that's the only way you can watch stuff on it. Like now, there's so much access.
No. I'm going to start reading up a little bit more actually on Phil Jackson because he must be underrated as a coach. You don't hear him like talked about in like the great coaches of sports or anything, do you?
Yeah, enough, but he's probably, I think, if not the best basketball coach that's ever been.
Because he went to Lakers, didn't he, as well? Wasn't he at the Lakers?
Yeah, and then he won another. I can't remember how many titles he won with the Lakers. I'm sure he won with Kobe and Shaq. He won another 6, maybe. I could be wrong, might be 4. But he won again. So he took his principles. And he had a lot of interesting ways of working. He brought a lot.
It's a little bit like.
Buddhism.
That's it, right? Yeah, I was going to say a bit of Eastern like philosophy and stuff in it. Wasn't it?
I think
before it was even like popular to do it.
It was really unpopular at the time to do it. It wasn't used back then, but he was using some of them techniques back then with the players, and a lot of them were like, "What is this? What is this?" But his ways were very, very successful. He was a very good coach, very good people person.
No, he's got a book out called I think it's 11 Rings. The book is called.
Yeah.
You must have won 11 NBA rings and that. I might give that a visit. I might put that onto me. I've
not read it. I've not read it, but I can imagine that being really good. I don't know. There's one called Sacred Hoops. That I'm not sure whether that's Phil Jackson or somebody else, but
I'm quite interested in like leadership and what is a good leader. Are there any attributes that I know leaders are different, so there's not maybe like one cap fits all, but what is it that makes a good leader? So you're looking at Phil Jackson, you're looking at Alex Ferguson, someone who like English people maybe can relate a bit more to, especially like in the military leaders like Ant Middleton and all this kind of stuff. What makes a good leader? And especially now with like Boris Johnson, and I'm not well up on politics, but who's the guy who's been standing in for him while he's been ill? Rab.
There's the finance guy in there, and then is it Michael Gove as well? He's the other guy, isn't he?
Yeah, but like, what makes a good leader? I mean, again, I don't really get into politics because I don't really know a lot about it, but
I don't.
I think Boris Johnson has done well in a completely unknown time. You know what I mean? Who knows what the right way for this to go is? And I think he's done well with it.
Yeah, it's so easy to sort of throw he doesn't know what he's doing. They're all messing it up, but he might be messing it up. But we've never been in this before, and I'd like to see people do better. It's unknown. It's like what do you want them to do? You know, what.
Exactly. Everyone's doing the best with the resources that they have at their disposal, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? And
but it is 5G and Zoom. So forget all that.
I mentioned it on so that I started doing this. It's something I've wanted to do for a while. This podcast, I know I've spoke to you about it, haven't I?
Yeah.
And I just thought, why we're in isolation and lockdown, let's just do it. Let's just start it and see what happens. And I'm enjoying the process. I'm learning about the video element of it and how to edit videos and stuff. So it's something that I have actually started to learn about now during this lockdown and that. So again, turning negatives into positives and that.
Yeah.
And the first guy I had on, Paul Stott, a mate of mine who I used to be in the police with and that.
Right.
We got talking about conspiracy theories and stuff. And I don't know if you've seen the London Real stuff that's going on at the moment, with David Icke.
Yeah, I followed it, yeah.
Did you watch it at all? We didn't watch it.
I did. I managed to watch some of it before it got taken down.
Was it as controversial as? I mean, he's a strange cat anyway, isn't he, David Icke?
Yeah, exactly like you just said. He's a strange guy. He's a bit of a wacko in my mind, but he should be given the right to say what he's saying. And to be honest with you, mate, it wasn't oh my God, he's inciting loads of hate, or it was anything that I thought they need to take this video down as soon as we can here. I think they've made a mistake now by taking that down, because now it looks suspicious, doesn't it? It's why have you took it down? So it feeds into the conspiracy theories.
Also, it does. That's fuel to the fire, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you took it down. It's
Well, you said that if they kept it on, it'll be a week, and people are like, "Oh, did you see that video?" And then after a week, it'll be yesterday's news, isn't it?
Exactly.
And now it's been removed from all sorts of platforms, hasn't it?
Yeah. LinkedIn, Facebook, all sorts of stuff, and I think that's wrong. No matter what you think of what he said, I don't really agree with a lot of what he said. I think it's a lot of rubbish. But at the end of the day, people should be allowed to hear that information and make their own mind up. Freedom of speech again, isn't it? So we shouldn't be taking videos down just because you don't agree with someone.
I mean, I think that's the whole idea of the internet, isn't it? At the end of the day, we can just access whatever information. We're not controlled by what information we can gain access to. It's up to us to judge that information and act on it accordingly. Yeah.
It does feed into the conspiracy theorists now, because they've got the upper hand now, because they're like, oh look, it proves that they're all in on it. It's the Illuminati and all this type of stuff. I just think, oh God.
I mean, it's good for entertainment value, isn't it? But
yeah. I do enjoy it for entertainment. Absolutely. I've got friends who send me videos all the time. Anytime someone says, I'll send you a link, I always think this. I can't tell you serious.
Watch this video.
Watch this video on YouTube. It is fun. It is fun.
I know. I watched. There was an Eddie Bravo. So again, I can't remember the guy's name. I got it up on the last podcast that we did. I don't want to. I think his name's Dr. Shiva.
Oh yeah.
I think
I've been sent that video. I think.
Oh, have you? That might have been me, mate, who sent you that. But he had some controversial views on this whole corona epidemic, that they shouldn't have locked us down. They should let us carry on, almost like herd immunity.
Yeah. And
because he's isolated, because we're all in isolation, our immune systems aren't becoming strong enough to develop immunity against this virus. That was, I think, paraphrasing what he was saying. That was his main gist.
Yeah.
But the next day, he was on Eddie Bravo's podcast.
That's a massive no.
That for me was just a massive red flag. I was like, yeah, I'm not bothered about that anymore. That's not interesting to me, because that's just gone too far left field.
Eddie Bravo was the ultimate conspiracy. I think Alex Jones and Eddie Bravo were up there, aren't they? Once you're on the Red flag.
No, I kind of like perked my ears up at this doctor. I'm sure his name's Dr. Shiva. And I perked my ears up and I thought, they're quite interesting points of view, them.
Yeah.
And the next day he was on Eddie Bravo and I was like, yeah, see you later.
Oh, mate, I get suckered in. I totally get suckered in at times. And I start to go down and then I think, hold on a minute. Let's get yourself back in the real world. But yeah, I fall for it sometimes.
I know.
I won't lie. Because the funny quote was actually, I think I've got it here somewhere. It was something like if you're into conspiracy theories, it's like everything's got to be, nothing's done by accident. Everything is
got a reason behind it or a motive. Yeah.
Like nothing happens by chance. There's like that's the problem with like this thing in China. Like no one can accept who's into the conspiracy theory that it's like an accident, because accidents don't happen. Everything's planned, and the government and this and oh god. It
comes back to that again. I don't want to keep going on about this book that I'm reading, but it's kind of like it's a good little like relatable to this book, because we want a narrative for everything. Our human brains can't handle stuff that happens in isolation.
Yeah.
We need to make this happen because of this.
Yeah.
We can't handle the fact that Mother Nature is just.
Exactly. People find that really difficult. Like they want to blame someone. It's got to be someone's fault. We've got to blame someone. Why is this not? And I think that's the conspiracy theory mindset, isn't it? Where I think you've got to be a little bit more objective sometimes, and things happen. And
try and make this narrative that fits our view of the world.
Yeah, totally.
If that view is more tailored towards believing conspiracy theories, that's what you're going to believe, aren't you?
Exactly. Like someone the other day was speaking really intelligently on it, and I agreed with it, because they were saying, well, okay, it come from China, so does that mean we should just blame China for everything? Well, maybe there's been some mistakes there, but at the end of the day, what he said we weren't ready for this, and we should have been ready. So he said, like, we should have been more ready with maybe some vaccines for this. We should have seen it coming. We should have had things in place. We should have had emergency supplies, PPE already there. So it's a massive lesson, isn't it? Like, it's not just China's fault. We've got to take responsibility. Everyone's got to take responsibility, haven't we?
I think so, definitely. There's a good documentary on Netflix as well called Pandemic.
I've seen it, I watched it last week.
I'm only 3 episodes into it, but it's difficult to watch sometimes, because
it is.
It's like a lot of science in there. There's a lot of like
quite heavy
back and forth, quite heavy going, but to think that like they knew that it was going to happen. So like, I mean, I'm not referring to Chinese knew that it was going to happen. I mean, in general, like people who were well known in that industry knew that this was going to happen.
Infectious disease people or scientists, like they knew it was going to happen at some point, didn't they?
So why wasn't we better prepared?
Exactly, and that's the. I think if there's any mistake or there's anything we can learn, I think being better prepared was the thing.
Yeah. That's another good book as well. Before we finish, Matthew Said, Black Box Thinking.
Oh, I've not read that.
It's about the aviation industry,
right?
And comparing it to like the hospital or the medical industry or whatever you refer to it as. Black box thinking, airplanes, if there's ever an accident or a crash, they have the black box obviously in the airplane. So that records everything and they learn from it and implement it so it doesn't happen again.
Right.
Whereas in the medical industry, according to this book, they don't have that feedback system. So they look for blame rather than learning from it. There's a blame culture. So things never get rectified because no one wants to blame the surgeon, the administrator, the head surgeon. No one wants to blame. Whereas the aviation industry don't have a blame culture. They have a learning mindset, so they want to learn from it so it doesn't happen again.
That's interesting. I think there's a lot we could take from that. That is really interesting. I haven't read that. I'll have to take a look at it.
Matthew Said. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. So anyway, mate, I appreciate you spending your time on a Sunday talking to me.
No problem, mate. Anytime, pal. Anytime. Always enjoy it.
Yeah, but that was good. Hopefully we can pencil something in, maybe do it in person next time when all this stuff's over.
That'd be good. I'll probably see you in 2025 when we can get together again.
I mean, there is still that uncertainty in there that we don't know how long this is going to go on for, and if we ever will go back to the way it was before. I don't think we will.
Oh. hopefully we'll get back to some sort of. I'm hoping at the end of the summer we can get back to some normality. Maybe try and catch up then and get together. Maybe do another one or whatever you want to do.
Hopefully, I'm going to try and get them set up where I'm filming in person. So like, I know like your office would be perfect for it in your gym and that, like, but in my kitchen we've got a little setup with a breakfast bar. I can have the camera set up so it's like it can film both people being interviewed hopefully. But
definitely hope. No, it's good. I've enjoyed it because I watched quite a lot of the last one you did. Is it with Paul?
Paul Stott, yeah.
So I watched quite a lot of that and it was good. So hopefully this will be just as entertaining. And then have you got any more lined up? Have you got any more ideas moving forward with it?
I've got a few people. We're having a second part with me and Paul because we did. So I don't know if you got to the part where we sort of edged each other to do an ice bath.
Oh right, no.
Trying to get out, trying to find ways to get out of our comfort zone basically during this time of lockdown. Because again, my theory is from stuff that I've read and that if we can just keep pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone, then that's going to obviously build resilience. And then when we come across times of adversity, that's when we can thrive because we're already kind of used to getting out of our comfort zone. And that's not just come from me. That's from like listening to Goggins, Rogan, all the stuff that we listen to and read and that like. But it's just the way like I put it across in my own head. So we were like, right, are we getting out of our comfort zone this week then? And we just so happened to Paul just was like, let's do an ice bath then because we were talking about Wim Hof and cold water therapy and that. So Friday, he did this a couple of days ago. I did it on Friday.
Did you? Did you do it?
Yeah, I did it on Friday. It's 5 minutes in an ice bath.
Oh, mate. Brutal.
I tell you what, and again, coming back to these stories that we tell ourselves in our own head and me self-talk, I was not looking forward to it, to be honest. Like it was the thing that is like, when you've got an interview for a job or something and it's constantly there in the back of your mind knowing that it's coming up.
Yeah.
This ice bath was like there in the back of my mind and I'm thinking like, oh, T-minus like 10 hours till an ice bath. Wow. T-minus 9 hours till the ice bath. So I went in the gym, did a pretty good session in the gym, like did a bit of a finisher on some kettlebells and that, and then was like ran the bath. 2 packs of ice cubes in there, 2 bags of ice, and I was like, right, I'm getting in. And I got in, and I'm not joking, I won't lie to you. The first 30 seconds, I was ready for tapping out. Honestly, mate.
Bath tapping on it.
Honestly, it was seriously hard. I don't know if you've ever done anything like it, but it was.
No, I've meant to do it. Like I've known about it for ages, and I keep saying I'm going to do the cold showers, but I've just never done it. So
I tried with the cold showers, but Paul was like, "Nah, you're being a bitch. Do an ice bath." Like
we're going all in.
Yeah. So I got in the ice bath, and after like 30 seconds to a minute, your body starts to adapt again. It's amazing what the body does. It just adapts to the situation that you're in. So it adapt. I was trying to adopt some like belly breathing, so not breathing into my lungs or my neck because that was causing like anxiety and panic. So controlling my breathing into my belly. And the 5 minutes, I was like, because you're trying hard to control your breathing because you're freezing. Obviously, you're in an ice bath, so to control your breath is quite hard on that. But I did the 5 minutes, like, and I reckon. I'm not saying this just because like we're on camera and that, but I reckon I could do longer. Like, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Laura's like, Dave, what are you doing?
I know. But look, to be honest, like Laura was up there because I said like get a picture of me just for evidence.
Yeah.
I'm in the ice bath. And the first 30 seconds, like I said, I was like, oh my God, it's horrible. And I was ready for tapping, and Laura was like, it's just all in your mind, get on with it. Proper like knock me down.
Yeah, mate, good advice there. What's the saying? Without discomfort, no growth happens, or something like that.
Yeah.
So there you go, mate. There you go.
And I don't think I would have been able to like cope if I'd have tapped out and got out the bath. Do you know what I mean? But I endured and I felt good. I tell you what though, I was knackered. About 3 hours after the ice bath, I was knackered, like proper like. I don't know if that's got some science behind it that relaxes you or.
Probably has.
Yeah, brought like the core temperature down or something, and that relaxes you. But I was knackered. I was like falling asleep on the couch.
Little power nap.
Yeah, but it's something we'll do again. Like we're having a second part to answer your question. I know I went on a bit there, but we're having a second part with Paul talking about the ice bath and a few things that's happening with me CIC and that, like, and then I'm going to try and get Dave Sheridan on at some point.
Get him on, mate. Get him on.
And a few other people I've got in mind, but I don't want to jinx it. Yeah.
Yeah, keep it secret, mate. Keep it secret.
Yeah. But no, mate, I enjoyed that. I appreciate your time anyway. Thanks for nearly an hour and a half there.
Done well there, mate. Not bad. 90 minutes, yeah. Good.
I said to Paul that it's surprising how long, like, you just get talking and you don't realise how long you've done.
Yeah. I thought we'd do like maybe 40 minutes or an hour, but we've done an hour and a half there.
An hour and 25 minutes exactly. Coming up soon now.
Good going.
I know. Hopefully people watch it and stick the an hour and 25 minutes out. They won't turn off too early.
Exactly, pal. Exactly.
Sorted, mate. Anyway, I appreciate that, Gaz.
All right, mate. Good to see you, pal. Take care.
You too. Take care. See you again.
See you later.